I made several mini albums and folios using the Paris collection from Carta Bella. Would you like to see what I made? That's coming up next. Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums, and I made a couple of folios and mini albums using the Paris collection by Steven Duncan, available from Carta Bella. I picked this up during a warehouse sale. I don't remember if the Paris was on the warehouse sale. It might have been a bundle. I had the 12 by 12 collection, the 6 by 6 collection, and the ephemera. Let me show you what I made. So I made several folios, a couple of cinch-bound books, and the mini album. Let me show you the folios, because this was really why I had purchased the collection. I've been making these folios. I do have a tutorial on my channel. There's also a cutting guide in my coffee shop. So I made a couple of blank ones and said, all right, I'll make at least one. So I made this one. Let me show you what's in it. So it's an 8 1/4 or 8 1/8 by about 4 inches. And it just has 4 different sections. On the front, I used one of the stickers I put on black cardstock. I used some fun fur and put just some of the stickers on the front. I did stitch around this just to add a little more detail to it. And then you open it up. There is this, which is glued down on the top, but it makes a great tuck spot. That came from the sticker sheet, and I just simply added it onto black cardstock. You still could put a 4 by 6 photo here. And then here I added, these came from the sticker sheets. I thought those titles would be great. If you're going to add your photos, you can put exactly what was there. And then just this, because it was adorable. So this is a tuck spot on the inside front cover. And then we open it here, and I've got a stacked pocket. So this is big enough to have a 3 by 4 cut apart, and it goes all the way down to the bottom. So you could add your photos in there. If it's a 4 by 6, you would want to cut it down just a little bit. There's room on the back there to journal. To make this detailing, I simply took some of that striped paper from the 6 by 6 collection, added it onto white cardstock, and it just added just a nice little touch. Here is another tuck spot at the top. I thought these little chairs and tables were adorable. And then here is a side-loading angled pocket. I put a couple more cut aparts here. And again, there's room on the back to journal or to add your photos. And this is just simply a little folder, so you could add some photos. And it's sort of like a map of Paris. Just something a little fun. Here's that adorable chair and table set. I put the sticker that says Metro on it. And then here's where you can put the bulk of the photos. So these are 4 by 4. So you can have 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I think 16 photos would fit. I made it just so it looked seamless, but I did not add paper to the inside, because once you put your photos there, you won't need anything below it. That's a little bigger, so you can put a little bigger photo there. And that is held down with a magnet. And that's it. It's pretty simple. Now again, I do have the tutorial on my channel, and there is a link also for the cutting guide. Now, I had a little bit extra after I did everything else and made another one. So it's the same basis. We've got a little tuck spot there, a tuck spot here. I added all the rest of the elements that came from the ephemera and cut aparts. So some of these cut aparts were from the 12 by 12 and some were from the 6 by 6. I'm so happy to see the pages on the 6 by 6. The cut aparts are still 4 by 3. So same here. I just added different color of the coordinating cardstock that I had. This I left open at the top, so it would make a little tuck spot. And again, it's got the little titles, so you could put those on photos. There's a little folder. It's got the map page and some coordinating cardstock. That goes in there. That goes in that. And I did similar. I added some of the striped paper from the 6 by 6 collection and just a couple extra cut aparts that were left over. And that closes like that, closes like that, and that is held down with a magnet. There's the back, and there are the sides. So I made those 2 folios, but then on Echo Park's website, there is an actual tutorial and cutting guide. So I followed that and used my Cricut and made this little album. So again, it's already done on Echo Park's. Just go into Echo Park, I guess it's echopark.com, and look under projects and you can find this. So there's room for all different size photos here. This will flip up. I did some similar to how the sample was, but some I just did on my own. This is open so you could tuck something in. There's a larger room for a cut apart. There's room to put photos. You can tuck a photo in here. So some of the pages I cut several of. The smaller ones I just cut one of. So the S I cut some more. Added room here for 2 photos. This is open at the top, so that's a little tuck spot. I just left that there. You can add a photo to there or leave it alone. Paris is always a good idea. Nice room to put photo. Here's just a little journaling spot on the back. Something a little fun. Room for a couple of photos there. Photos there. A couple pictures there. We have that tucked in. And so what would you do with these? You might say, well, you could add a little photo on the back and leave it tucked in there. And add photo and maybe journal, or add 2 photos. It's up to you. And there's the back page. I did bind it with my cinch binding. And there is that. Now I still had a little bit of paper left. So I made a couple of these cinch bound notebooks. I made a little pocket in the front. Added a couple of tags, some leftover piece, and then I made a little folder with some tags inside. I'll put that in later. And then there's lots of room to jot down, so you could take this with you when you go traveling, or you could just use it for just notes. So there is that one, and this one is very similar. We've got a little pocket in the front. Here is a tuck spot, a couple of pages. Here's the tag. And again, room to journal. A little spot to separate it in case you wanted to do one part as a shopping list, one part of places you want to go. And there is the back cover. And there we go. Now I had a little bit of scraps left over, so I made these boxes, and I am so sorry, I can't remember who I saw this from. This is Stamping Up, let me show you this one. Stamping Up Demonstrator, and it's using 2-inch pieces, 2x6. And it opens like that, and in here you put a piece of chocolate. So, and it closes just by virtue of this belly band. And same with that one. So, 2 little boxes, 2 cinch bound mini albums, 2 folios. Whoops, that doesn't belong. And my Paris shaped album. So that is what I wanted to show you real quick. Things I made using It was, now that I realize I got the solids, a bundle that I got from the Echo Park warehouse sale that probably is over now, but you know, they'll have another one. So thanks so much for watching and have a fabulous day.